Hey dolls, you're gonna have to forgive me. I am pretty exhausted. It is day 4 post-op. I just took a shower for the first time in 4 days. My hair is finally clean. Oh my gosh, first of all, the Dr. Jumeli, did such a phenomenal job. I'm still so swollen and like pretty bruised, not as badly bruised as I thought I was gonna be at this point, but he did such a phenomenal job. I was like washing my hair and then trying to comb it, and I could not even find the incision. So I don't know. I still need to look for that later because I'm not even sure there really is one. But yeah, I kind of figure that some of you might be a little curious to know what's going on with me. Some of you have pretty much cracked the code and have been messaging me about it. But yeah, I guess I'm not really quite sure how to get into it other than to just jump right in. So let me take a sip of my pineapple juice really quick. Let me get one more. I don't even know how to start this. So basically, let's just jump right into it. You know what I mean? I guess without beating around the bush, around 8 months ago, almost 8 months ago, in January, right at the beginning of the year, I decided to begin the process of hormone replacement therapy, which, for those of you who don't know, is the process of taking estrogen and testosterone blockers, differing on the person, as a means of bringing in the woman and pushing out the man, you know what I mean? At least that was my process with it. I think that this whole pandemic leading up to that January point where I made this decision was so crucial for me to have that time to myself. Honestly, just like, it gave me a lot of time to think and reflect. And, you know, like, on the show, on Drag Race, which now was like almost 2 years ago, which is insane, I came out as gender fluid, which I still very much identify with. I would say I'm leaning more towards the non-binary side of that. But it was a realization that I didn't really have much time to process as the episodes were airing. And so I think that if the world hadn't shut down and I was going on tour, I really wouldn't have been able to process it further, just because of the sheer fact that I had this much time to myself and to my thoughts. I really had a lot of realizations. One of those realizations came from watching the show Veneno, which to some of you may or may not sound lame, but the story, and not only the story, but the characters and the actresses who played those characters in that show, like, completely, I don't even know how to explain it, like, completely, like, opened my mind up to who I am, and I guess who I'm supposed to be. And to me, that is a trans non-binary person. It's been about almost 8 months, and I have been going through a lot of changes. And the reason that I didn't say anything or want to say anything sooner, you know, like, I could have made this announcement at the beginning of my journey, and it could have been very helpful to some people. I understand that, but I also know the influence that strangers on social media have on these types of situations. And so I knew when I started that I wanted this to be a journey that I was going on by myself, on my own, without any input from the outside world. Like, the only people that really knew that I was going through this were me and my mom and my close friends living across the street, which is exactly the way that I wanted it up until this point, because now we can talk about the procedure that I just had done, which is known as FFS. For those of you who don't know what FFS is, that stands for facial feminization surgery, and you can kind of connect the dots as to what that means. Facial feminization surgery is different for every person that gets it. There's not one type of FFS that you can get. It depends on the person and what they feel they need in order to feminize their face. So without getting into too much detail, which I may or may not do later, because I don't know, I don't really feel like it's anybody's business but my own. I just feminized the parts of my face that I felt needed feminization. I didn't really get anything major done. It's not something that's gonna like completely change the way that I look. I'm still gonna look like me, but I'm just gonna look a little bit more feminine, or like, you know, as if I was born a female. I do want to say that I do identify as a trans non-binary person, but I prefer she, her pronouns. I'm just more comfortable with that. It's what my friends and I call each other. I am in the process of legally changing my name to Gigi, and that is proving to be quite the long, strenuous process. But to those of you who have known me before as Samuel, that's great. I love that for you, but you know, it's pretty much Gigi from here on out. This whole part is obviously something that I couldn't necessarily avoid showing the world, so I figured that this is probably the best time to do that. And I think now that I've reached this point in my transition, I'm excited to let you all in on it and let you in on the journey and give you updates. And I hope you all understand that I wasn't trying to keep you away from this like forever, but that I really just needed this time to myself to figure this out for me and to be able to stand on solid ground when I, you know, come out to you now. So yeah, I've got a lot more healing to go, and not a lot of time to do it. We are busy girls here. We have things to do. So, without further ado, back to your regularly scheduled programming. Love you all so much. And, yeah, I guess I'll just keep you updated.